Hi, if you can just introduce yourself, say where you're from.
Okay, my name is Mao Kunji. I'm from Nigeria, Lagos, and I'm here for the WESCA conference in Senegal.
And you're pretty experienced in African telecoms and Nigerian telecoms.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about what you do?
About what I do? Yeah, I'm a journalist. I write IT and telecom in Nigeria. I do interviews, do news reporting and analysis and research about telecom industry in Nigeria.
Okay, and we're discussing digital divide and more relevant to West Africa. What are your thoughts on the whole issue of a digital divide in Africa?
Yeah, actually we see the digital divide in Africa, but then telecom is also growing. But in Nigeria, per se, telecom is growing at a very high speed, but not as much as that of data. But there is difference between the data growth and that of the voice growth. We have more of the voice growth than the data growth. So such things are some of the impediments about what we call about the digital divide in Nigeria. We have some problems too in terms of connectivity in terms of broadband. Broadband in Nigeria is pretty difficult. Though we have broadband, but the connectivity there is also difficult. One, cost of bandwidth is expensive. In Nigeria, an average Nigerian cannot afford to get a bandwidth, and those corporate bodies that get bandwidth, in most cases what ISPs do is to share them, give them shared bandwidth, and when they have shared bandwidth, the speed is terribly low, and then even for those to get the bandwidth at times, the cost is also a problem, and for those that are able to afford it, the speed is also a problem because most times they are shared with one body or the other.
So, I mean, you've raised a couple of issues there in terms of the actual proliferation of broadband, the cost of broadband. What would you say is the biggest issue for people? Is it the cost, or is it too expensive for people?
No, the biggest issue is the unavailability of the broadband itself.
Okay.
Cost is there, but one is not also available, because if it's available, people will be able to afford it and get it, but it's not available. The only few that have it because of the cost, it couldn't spread around. So cost is an issue, and availability is also an issue. But I think availability is also tied with cost, because broadband outside Nigeria, is pretty cheap. But with the coming of submarine fiber cables like the main one, the Glow one, we are thinking that cost will be reduced, and then the availability will be much in Nigeria. So I think I look at a boom for broadband connectivity in Nigeria when this cable comes into Nigeria, and then we need to deploy to the last mile deployment, and then we believe that all homes and offices need to have broadband at a very high speed, because what Nigerians need is the speed. Nigerians are not patient when it comes to browsing. If it's so slow, they are ready to leave it and jump in and go for other things. But when the speed is there, they enjoy walking on the internet.
And between rural Nigeria and the cities in Nigeria, do you feel like that people in rural areas demand these services also, or is this?
Yes, rural communities in Nigeria, they are in need of these services, because when they come out to the urban cities, they feel like belonging, they feel like being browsing the internet. But we have problem in the rural community, problem of power there. There are also problem of availability of this network, and even penetration in the rural area is very scanty. We see how low penetration in the rural area. So the issue of rural connectivity is not just the demand. The demand is there, but one, the penetration is not there, either because there is no much return on investment in rural areas, or maybe the operators don't want to go to such areas. They want to concentrate more on urban cities where they generate money quickly. Because the rural communities, they want this connectivity, but they don't have it over there. One, operators don't want to go to such an area because no power, and they may not generate funds as fast as that of the urban cities. So they concentrate more on urban cities. But then the rural communities, they also need it, and they would like to have it. But with this Glow one, like I told you, the submarine cable that is coming, when it comes, it goes round, Glow one, main one, and WAP. So everywhere definitely the rural community will enjoy much of the broadband connectivity in Nigeria.
Very good. And what do you think is the biggest driver of that can reduce the digital divide in Africa? What do you think is the number one thing that can, in your mind?
Internet. That is broadband. Once there is broadband, there is internet. People prefer to sit down at home, do their work, and even the issue of there will be self-employment. People can sit down, generate jobs for themselves, and then go on the net, because on the net they have a lot of opportunities, for sort of livelihood. But once these are not there, it will be a problem. But once the broadband is there, I think the biggest issue is broadband. Once we have the broadband, so many other things will follow suit.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us.